Now read this.
Hello, and welcome back to Now Read This, The Chronicles of Prydain, Book 5, The High King, by Lloyd Alexander, Chapter 21, Farewells. The last chapter in the whole series. Here we are. Through the remainder of the night, Taran did not move from the window. The unfinished weaving lay at his feet. By dawn, a still greater number of comet folk and Cantrev nobles came to throng the fields and hillsides around Caer Dallben, for it had become known the sons of Dawn were departing Prydain, and with them the daughters of Dawn, who had journeyed from the eastern strongholds. At last Taran stirred and made his way to Dallben's chamber. The companions were already gathered, even Dolly, who had flatly refused to set out for the fair folk realm without taking a last leave of each and every friend. Cor, quiet for once, perched on the dwarf's shoulder. Glue seemed excited and pleased to be on his way. Taliesin and Gwydion stood near Dallben, who had donned a heavy travel cloak and bore an ashwood staff. Under his arm the enchanter carried the Book of Three. "Kindly master, hasten!" shouted Gurgi, as Leanne at Fluda's side twitched her tail impatiently. "All are ready for floatings and boatings." Taran's eyes went to the faces of the companions, to Eilonwy, who was watching him eagerly, to the weathered features of Gwydion, and the face of Dallben, furrowed with wisdom. Never had he loved each of them more than at this moment. He did not speak until he came to stand before the old enchanter. "Never shall I have greater honour than the gift you offer me," Taran said. The words came slowly, yet he forced himself to continue. "Last night my heart was troubled. I dreamed that Ordu— No, it was not a dream, she was indeed there, and I have seen for myself your gift is one I cannot take." Gurgi's yelping stopped short, and he stared at Taran with wide and unbelieving eyes. The companions started, and Eilonwy cried out, "Taran of Caer Dallben, do you have any idea what you're saying? Has the flame of Darnwyn scorched your wits?" Suddenly her voice caught in her throat. She bit her lips and turned quickly away. "I understand. In the summer country we were to be wed. Do you still question my heart? It has not changed. It is your heart that has changed toward mine." Taran dared not look at Eilonwy, for his grief was too keen in him. "You are wrong, Princess of Lear," he murmured. "I have long loved you, and loved you even before I knew that I did. If my heart breaks to part from our companions, it breaks twice over to part from you. Yet so it must be. I cannot do otherwise." "Think carefully, Assistant Pigkeeper," Dallben said sharply. "Once taken, your choice cannot be recalled. Will you dwell in sorrow instead of happiness? Will you refuse not only joy and love, but never-ending life?" Taran did not answer for a long moment. When at last he did, his voice was heavy with regret, yet his words were clear and unfaltering. "There are those more deserving of your gift than I, yet never may it be offered them. My life is bound to theirs. Cole, son of Colfrew's garden and orchard lie barren, waiting for a hand to quicken them. My skill is less than his, but I give it willingly for his sake. The seawall at Dinas Rident is unfinished," Taran continued. "Before the King of Mona's burial mound, I vowed not to leave his task undone." From his jacket, Taran drew the fragment of pottery. "Shall I forget Anlor Clayshaper, Comet Merrin, and others like it? I cannot restore life to Lonio, son of Lonwen, and those valiant folk who followed me, never to see their homes again. Nor can I mend the hearts of widows and orphan children. Yet if it is in my power to rebuild even a little of what has been broken, this must I do. The Red Fallows once were a fruitful place. With labour, perhaps they shall be so again." He turned and spoke to Taliesin. "Caer Dathil's proud halls lie in ruins, and with them the Hall of Law and the treasured wisdom of the bards. Have you not said that memory lives longer than what it remembers? But what if memory be lost? If there are those who would help me, we will raise the fallen stones and regain the treasure of memory." Gurgi will help. He will not voyage. No, no, Gurgi wailed. He stays always. He wants no gift that takes him from kindly master. Taran put a hand on the creature's arms. You must journey with the others. Do you call me master? Obey me then in one last command. Find the wisdom you yearn for. It awaits you in the summer country. Whatever I may find, I must seek it here. Eilonwy bowed her head. You have chosen as you must, Taran of Caer Dallben. Nor will I gainsay you, Dallben said to Taran, but only warn you. The tasks you set yourself are cruelly difficult. There is no certainty you will accomplish even one, and much risk you will fail in all of them. In either case, your efforts may well go unrewarded, unsung, forgotten. And at the end, like all mortals, you must face your death, perhaps without even a mound of honour to mark your resting place. Taran nodded. So be it, he said. Long ago, I yearned to be a hero without knowing, in truth, what a hero was. Now, perhaps I understand it a little better. A grower of turnips or a shaper of clay, a comet farmer or a king, every man is a hero if he strives more for others than for himself alone. Once, he added, you told me that the seeking counts more than the finding. So too must the striving count more than the gain. Once I hoped for a glorious destiny, Taran went on, smiling at his own memory. That dream has vanished with my childhood, and though a pleasant dream, it was fit only for a child. I am well content as an assistant pig-keeper. Even that contentment shall not be yours, Dallben said. No longer are you assistant pig-keeper, but High King of Prydain. Taran caught his breath and stared with disbelief at the enchanter. You jest with me, he murmured. Have I been prideful to you that you would mock me by calling me king? Your worth was proved when you drew Dernwyn from its sheath, Dallben said, and your kingliness when you chose to remain here. It is not a gift I offer you now, but a burden far heavier than any you have borne. Then why must I bear it? Cried Taran. I am an assistant pig-keeper, and such have I always been. It has been written in the Book of Three, Dallben answered, and raised his hand for silence before Taran could speak again. I dared not tell you this. To give you such knowledge would have defeated the prophecy itself. Until this very moment, I was not sure you were the one chosen to rule. Indeed, yesterday I feared you were not. How then, Taran asked, could the Book of Three deceive you? No, it could not, Dallben said. The book is thus called because it tells all three parts of our lives, the past, the present, and the future. But it could as well be called a book of if. If you had failed at your tasks, if you had followed an evil path, if you had been slain, if you had not chosen as you did. 1,000 ifs, my boy, and many times 1,000. The Book of Three can say no more than if, until at the end of all things that might have been, one alone becomes what really is. For the deeds of a man, not the words of a prophecy, are what shape his destiny. I understand now why you kept my parentage a secret, Taran said, but shall I never be given to know it? I did not keep it a secret from you entirely through my wish, Dallben answered, nor do I keep it so now. Long ago, when the Book of Three first came into my hands, from its pages I learned that when the Sons of Dawn departed from Prydain, the High King would be one who slew a serpent, who gained and lost a flaming sword, who chose a kingdom of sorrow over a kingdom of happiness. These prophecies were clouded, even to me. The darkest was the prophecy that he who would come to rule Prydain would be one of no station in life. Long did I ponder these things, Dallben continued. At last I left Caer Dallben to seek this future king, and to hasten his coming. For many years I searched, yet all whom I questioned well knew their station, whether shepherd or war leader, cantref lord or comet farmer. The seasons turned, kings rose and fell, wars turned to peace, and peace to war. Indeed, on a certain time, so many years ago, as you yourself have years, a grievous war was upon the land, and I despaired of my quest, and turned my steps once more toward Caerdalban. On that day I chanced to pass a field where a battle had raged. Many lay slain, noble as well as humble folk. Even the women and children had not been spared. From the forest nearby I heard a piercing cry. An infant had been hidden among the trees, as though his mother had sought at the last to keep him safe. From his wrappings I could judge neither of his parentage, and only sensed with certainty that both mother and father lay upon that field of the slain. Here, surely, was one of no station in life, an unknown babe of unknown kin. I bore the child with me to Caerdalban. The name I gave him was Taran. I could not have told you of your parentage, even had I wished to, Dalban continued, for I knew it no more than you did. My secret hope I shared only with two others, Lord Gwydion and Cole. As you grew to manhood, so our hopes grew, though never could we be certain you were the child born to be High King. Until now, my boy, said Dalban, you were always a great perhaps. What was written has come to pass, Gwydion said, and now, in truth, we must say farewell. The chamber was silent. Leanne, sensing the bard's distress, nuzzled him gently. The companions did not move. It was Glue who stepped forward and spoke first. I've been carrying this with me ever since I was so shabbily hustled away from Mona, he said, drawing from his jacket a small blue crystal which he pressed into Taran's hand. It reminded me of my cavern in those grand days when I was a giant. But for some reason I don't want to be reminded of them any longer. Since I don't want it, here, take it as a small remembrance of me. He's still hardly the most generous spirit in the world, muttered Fluda, but I've no doubt it's the first time he's ever given anybody anything. Great Bellion, I swear the little fellow's actually grown another inch. Doley had taken the handsomely crafted axe from his belt. You'll need this, he told Taran, and it should serve you well in many tasks. It's fair folk quality, my lad, and you'll not blunt it easily. It can serve me no better than did its owner, Taran replied, clasping the dwarf's hand, and its metal cannot be as true as your own heart. Good old Doley. Ah, the dwarf snorted furiously. Good old Doley. I've heard that somewhere before. Cor, on Doley's shoulder, bobbed up and down, while Taran gently ran a finger over the crow's sleek feathers. Farewell, Cor croaked. Taran, farewell. Farewell to you, Taran answered, smiling. If I have despaired of teaching you good manners, I have rejoiced in your bad ones. You are a rogue and a scamp, and a very eagle among crows. Leanne had padded up to rub her head affectionately against Taran's arm, which she did so vigorously that the enormous cat nearly knocked him off his feet. Bear my friend good company, Taran said, stroking Leanne's ears. Cheer him with your purring when his spirits are low, as I wish you might cheer me. Stray not far from him, for even such a bold bard as Fluda Flam is no stranger to loneliness. Fluda himself had drawn near, and in his hand held the harp string he had taken from the fire. The heat of the flame had caused the string to curl and twine in a curious pattern that seemed without beginning or end, constantly changing as from one melody to another, even as Taran looked at it. I'm afraid it's all that's left of the old pot, Fluda said, offering the string to Taran. Truthfully, I'm just as well pleased. It was forever jangling and going out of tune. He paused, glanced behind him nervously, and cleared his throat. What I meant to say was that I shall miss those snapping strings. No more than I shall miss them, Taran said. Remember me as well and fondly as I remember you. Have no fear, cried the bard. There's still songs to be sung and tales to be told. Flam never forgets. Alas, alas, wailed Gurgie. "Poor Gurgie has nothing to give kindly master for fond rememberings. Woe and misery! Even wallet of crunchings and munchings now is empty." The tearful creature suddenly clapped his hands together. "Yes, yes, forgetful Gurgie has one gift. Here it is. From burning treasure house of wicked death lord, bold Gurgie seized it with catchings and snatchings, but his poor tender head was so filled with fearful spinnings that he forgot." With this, Gurgie drew from his leather pouch a small, flame-scarred, battered coffer of unknown metal and held it out to Taran, who took it, studied it curiously, then broke the heavy seal which kept it locked. The coffer held no more than a number of thin, closely written parchments. Taran's eyes widened as he scanned them, and he turned quickly to Gurgie. "Do you know what you have found?" he whispered. "Here are the secrets of forging and tempering metals, of shaping and firing pottery, of planting and cultivating. This is what Aron stole long ago and kept from the race of men. This knowledge is itself a priceless treasure." "Perhaps the most precious of all," said Gwydion, who had come to study the parchments in Taran's hands. "The flames of Manuvin destroyed the enchanted tools that laboured of themselves and would have given carefree idleness. These treasures are far worthier, for their use needs skill and strength of hand and mind." Fluda gave a low whistle. "Who owns these secrets is truly master of Prydain. Taran, old friend, the proudest country of Lord will be at your beck and call, begging for anything you choose to grant him." "And Gurgie found it," shouted Gurgie, springing into the air and madly whirling about. "Yes, oh yes, bold, clever, faithful, valiant Gurgie always finds things. Once he found a lost piggy, and once he found evil black cauldron. Now he finds mighty secrets for kindly master." Taran smiled at the excited Gurgie. "Indeed, you have found many mighty secrets, but they are not mine to keep. These will I share with all in Prydain, for by right they belong to all." "Then share this as well," said Dalvin, who had been listening closely and now held out the heavy, leather-bound volume he had kept under his arm. "The Book of Three," Taran said, looking wonderingly and questioningly at the enchanter. "I dare not." "Take it, my boy," Dalvin said. "It will not blister your fingers, as once it did with an over-curious assistant pig-keeper. All its pages are open to you. The Book of Three no longer foretells what is to come, only what has been. But now can be set down the words of its last page." The enchanter took a quill from the table, opened the book, and in it wrote with a bold, firm hand, "And thus did an assistant pig-keeper become High King of Prydain." "This, too, is a treasure," said Gwydion. "The Book of Three is now both history and heritage. For my own gift, I could give you nothing greater, nor do I offer you a crown, for a true king wears his crown in his heart." The tall warrior clasped Taran's hand. "Farewell. We shall not meet again." "Take Dernwyn, then, in remembrance of me," Taran said. "Dernwyn is yours," Gwydion said, "as it was meant to be." "Yet Aron is slain," Taran replied. "Evil is conquered, and the blade's work done." "Evil conquered," said Gwydion. "You have learned much, but learn this last and hardest of lessons. You have conquered only the enchantments of evil. That was the easiest of your tasks, only a beginning, not an ending. Do you believe evil itself to be so quickly overcome? Not so long as men still hate and slay each other, when greed and anger goad them. Against these, even a flaming sword cannot prevail, but only that portion of good in all men's hearts whose flame can never be quenched." Eilonwy, who had been standing in silence, now drew close to Taran. The girl's eyes did not waver from his as she held out the golden sphere. "Take this," she softly said, "though it does not glow as brightly as the love we might have shared. Farewell, Taran of Caerdalban. Remember me." Eilonwy was about to turn away, but suddenly her blue eyes flashed furiously, and she stamped her foot. "It's not fair," she cried. "It's not my fault I was born into a family of enchantresses. I didn't ask for magical powers. That's worse than being made to wear a pair of shoes that doesn't fit. I don't see why I have to keep them."
"Princess of Lear," said Dalbin, "I have waited for you yourself to say those words. Do you truly wish to give up your heritage of enchantment?"
"Of course I do," Eilonwy cried. "If enchantments are what separates us, then I should be well rid of them."
"This lies within your power," Dalbin said, "within your grasp, and, for the matter of that, upon your finger. The ring you wear, the gift Lord Gwydion gave you long ago, will grant your wish."
"What?" Eilonwy burst out, in both surprise and indignation. "Do you mean to say that all these years I've worn my ring I could have used it to have a wish granted? You told me nothing of it. That's worse than unfair. Why, I couldn't simply have wished to destroy the Black Cauldron or to find Dernwyn. I could have wished Aran conquered. Without the least danger, and I never knew."
Child, Dalbin interrupted. "Your ring can indeed grant you a wish, and one wish alone. But evil cannot be conquered by wishing. The ring will serve only you, and grant only the deepest wish of your own heart. I did not tell you before because I was uncertain that you truly knew what you longed for." "Turn the ring once upon your finger," Dalbin said. "Wish with all your heart for your enchanted powers to vanish." Wondering and almost fearful, Eilonwy closed her eyes and did the enchanter's bidding. The ring flared suddenly, but only for a moment. The girl gave a sharp cry of pain, and in Terran's hand the light of the golden bauble winked out. "It is done," Dalbin murmured. Eilonwy blinked and looked around her.
"I don't feel a bit different," she remarked. "Are my enchantments truly gone?"
Dalbin nodded. "Yes," he said gently, "yet you shall always keep the magic and mystery all women share. And I fear that Terran, like all men, shall be often baffled by it. But such is the way of it. Come, clasp hands, the two of you, and pledge each other your troth." When they had done so, the companions pressed around the wedded couple to wish them happiness. Then Gwydion and Taliesin went from the cottage, and Dalbin took up his ashwood staff. "We can tarry no longer," the enchanter said, "and here our ways must part." "But what of Hen Wen?" Terran asked. "Shall I not see her one last time?" "As often as you please," answered Dalbin. "Since she was free to go or stay, I know she will choose to remain with you. But I suggest you first let those visitors trampling about the fields see there is a new High King in Prydain, and a new Queen. Gwydion will have proclaimed the tidings, and your subjects will be impatient to hail you." The companions following, Terran and Eilonwy left the chamber. But at the cottage door, Terran drew back and turned to Dalbin. "Can one such as I rule a kingdom? I remember a time when I jumped head first into a thorn bush, and I fear kingship will be no different." "Very likely more nettlesome," put in Eilonwy. "But should you have any difficulties, I'll be happy to give you my advice. Right now there's only one question. Are you going in or out of this doorway?" In the waiting throng beyond the cottage, Terran glimpsed Hevid, Lassar, the folk of the comets, Gast and Gorion, side by side near the farmer Eodan, King Smoit towering above them, his beard bright as flame. But many were the well-loved faces he saw clearly only with his heart. A sudden burst of cheering voices greeted him as he took Eilonwy's hand tightly in his own and stepped through the door. And so they lived many happy years, and the promised tasks were accomplished. Yet long afterward, when all had passed away into distant memory, there were many who wondered whether King Terran, Queen Eilonwy, and their companions had indeed walked the earth, or whether they had been no more than dreams in a tale set down to beguile children. And, in time, only the bards knew the truth of it. The end. Well, what a journey that was, eh? The end of the Chronicles of Prydain, Book 5. All 5 books wrapped into one. Now, I've heard there is one more. I've never read it, but I might as well read it. I think it's called The Foundling
The Foundling and Other Tales of Prydain. So I might pick that up at some point and read that to you guys, but thank you for joining me. This has been a Now Read This production of the Chronicles of Prydain. It's been a joy to read them to you. I'm very sad, actually, that they're over now, and I don't really know what I'm going to do next. But thanks for listening and in all the comments and everything. It's been really a wonderful journey. I think the only thing I regret is not reading them into the microphone so that there was better audio quality, but maybe I'll re-record them in the future at some point and live stream it or something. So anyway, thank you for joining me on Now Read This. And I think next week I'll probably take a break from recording. There's some personal stuff I've got to do, but yeah. Anyway, much love to you all. May the good blood guide your way. God bless. Keep me in your prayers. I'll keep you in mind. And if I don't see you next week, then likely the week afterward. But next week I might have a couple of things edited for the channel that I've been meaning to do for a while. Just a couple of videos that they're all chapter by chapter and I want to do full length. So, yeah. Right. Much love. Farewell.
Hey, you want to buy something? You can check the description for my books and audiobooks. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.